Sure it on, sure it on. You can try to flash like your bitch ass want it. You don't want me bullet fire like some corn. You a motherfucking fall, look, Kermit. Yo, man, I don't need a garment.
Two bitches at the same time, synchronized swimmers. Got the girl twisted, but she overly twister. Never met the bitch, but I fuck her like I missed her. Life is a
here is everybody's taking tough fights. Like, all the fights are tough fights. And if you aren't taking tough fights and you can pad your record a little bit, when you face somebody who did take tough fights, you're not ready, right?
Yeah.
You don't have what they have.
And that's where we have to give credit to our matchmaker in Rick Garcia for the Colorado Combat Club. And we have very evenly matched up fights in most of these contests, to where you're not seeing exactly as you mentioned. You know, we're not running cans out there, if you will.
No,
and no disrespect to those guys out there. Everybody's got to make a living, but you understand my point.
Let's say your matchmaker's name again.
Rick Garcia.
Rick Garcia knows what he's doing. And it's an art. Matching fights is an art. You can't just take two good guys. You have to picture what it may look like, and he knows, right?
Yeah.
You know?
And Valadez is throwing flurries right away. Now, Alonzo Adams is doing a good job at getting out of range of that damage. But both of these guys, the way that they're blitzing, we might see something clip at some point.
Yep.
Well, we did see something clip, but it just happened to be the cup.
Yeah, and you saw him get clipped there. I know he hit him in the cup, but he got clipped because he's throwing a naked kick. You got to put your hands first. You got to put a feint first. You got to do something. It's hard to just get away with throwing naked kicks nowadays because guys are waiting to sit down on it. And, you know, just like he did in his last fight, knock you out, you know, and that's a good opportunity for people, whether you're throwing a hook or a straight down the middle. You leave yourself vulnerable when you're throwing naked kicks.
And the game changes always. The one thing that will always be true is it will continue to change. Whatever moment you're in is only this moment. So when people are like, oh, blah, 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 calf kicks. Well, that was a year ago. Now, for the last number of years, it is automatic in the gym to counter them a particular way. I would rather now, when you're training with your training partners who know, you'd rather have them throw one at you than have to throw one at them, because you're going to be so well trained in dealing with it, right?
Yeah.
And because the game changes, the soup changes.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like you said, it's always changing. And the more, I don't know what causes that change. I don't know if it's the more media attention, the better leagues, the better fighters, or a combination of all of it.
All
it's just people are seeing things and they're like, I think I can do that better and a little bit different. And then they carry that to their gym. Now their gym's doing that. The gym starts to get some wins doing that.
Yep.
It gets out to people. They're like, well, we're going to do that. Then they go, oh, we can change it. We can put our spin on it. It's going to be better. Now they're doing that. Now everyone steals it from them. And that's the cool thing about this sport is that, like you said, it is always changing. And there's so many different aspects that can change, whether it's grappling or striking, or this person's doing this for their cardio now, or this person's doing this for their strength and conditioning. There's just so many.
Burner phones so your family doesn't bother you.
Exactly.
Like, whatever it is, whatever. Yeah, and everybody's sharing these things. Yeah, it's cool. And, you know, the high level, like the highest level guys now are already training the thing that'll beat the thing you're training today, right? You know, and that is a constant upgrade to the game. I always like to look at fighting as, you know, exploiting belief systems. That guy believes something, and based on his belief, he'll behave a particular way. Well, we're going to penalize that behavior, right?
Yeah.
So what he believed, and you don't want your opponent to know what you believe. These simple things that people say, oh, always keep your front foot on the outside against the southpaw. That's not true, right? And if I think you believe that's true, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Valadez has been sneaky with that jab when he's standing in an orthodox stance. That's clipped him a couple of times as we've been standing here, right? Or as action is resumed.
You see that feint that he's drawing that parry.
Yep.
He needs to feint that and then maybe weave behind it.
Yeah, and I was seeing exactly what you just saw. When that parry comes, well, that was well timed. It was well calculated.
Super well timed. You see him going right to work on the bottom. That's good from the bottom
Alonzo Adams trying to work that rubber guard.
So it's tough when you don't have your right leg attached to anything. He can still work from here and go down omoplata, but often but he's past now, right? But you'll want often that right foot on a hip or something, somewhere you can control with it.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're Dylan King or Gilbert Smith in the blue corner, what are you offering your fighter Alonzo Adams?
You got to make space. You see how he's staying too connected. He needs to circle here or roll through. He's in a bad position here for sure.
Yeah, he's on the neck for real here. And notice in his case, the right, where the foot is and where the shin is, that's giving him control. Oh, he got him. I think he's out.
It was
He's
like
out.
a rabbit punch. Is he out?
I think he's out.
He might be out.
No.
Nope, he's still there.
No.
I did see what you said, though,
Yeah.
there. It did look like his right hand went kind of limp for a
kind of
second.
limp for a second, yeah. Now, you could fake that if you want, but if the ref believes it, you're out. The thing's
Robbie
done.
Lawler, Ben Askren.
Exactly, yeah. This kid's good.
Yeah, it was a good kick across
Yeah.
there. Alonzo needed to work more position before damage. You know, he's trying to strike there. I get it. You want to do damage, but
And Alonzo Adams certainly not in the position that he wants to be, right in front of Rich McQuetcho and Justin Wetzel at the corner of his opponent, Carlos Valadez. But he was able to get himself right back up to the feet, and a strong flurry to end the round there for Alonzo Adams.
yeah, Alonzo Adams needs to feint to close the distance. He got taken down because he's reaching so hard to land that big shot. If he just feints to close that distance a little bit, I think he'll have more success.
Strong round from each of those two
Yeah.
right there. Now,
Sometimes
tough one to call.
Two good fighters.
I would probably lean. It was a close fight on the feet. I would probably lean towards Carlos a little bit just with the ground control. But my point was gonna be that Alonzo had that quick knockout his last fight, and you know he's a grappler. He has great wrestling, but sometimes you fall in love with your hands a little bit. You fall in love with, oh, I can knock people out, and you don't always know that. That's the thing. Like, you go into these fights, and he's still a young fighter. You don't know you can knock people out. So when you do it, you're like, oh, I can do this to anyone.
Yep.
You know, and so you're kind of seeing him reach hard on those big power shots, and Carlos is taking advantage, getting in on his double legs, sticking that jab like you're talking about. I think Alonzo just needs to slow down a little bit and find his range. You know, he's not really trying to find the range. He's trying to find the right hand before he ever lands a jab.
What would you offer in relation to the intensity of the shots that he's throwing? It looks like he's throwing everything
I would take
high intensity,
yeah,
80 to 85 to 100%. Do you scale that down?
Yeah, I tell him throw it 70% and touch. Just touch right now. When you find it, then you can throw a big one. You can rhythm change once you start to land, but until you're landing, you don't need to rhythm change.
You start to, have this idea in your mind, man, I can go to knock out 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys.
He's using that oblique kick as a distance gauging tool right now.
Yeah, and see, look, he's chasing on the cage here. He needs to cut him off.
And they did tell him, no doubt about it, 2 punches and get to the leg, and that's what he did here.
Yeah.
Hips in. It's a nice spot.
He's in a good spot here. Yeah, I got him pinned against the cage. He wants to posture. Good pass.
Sick.
Yeah,
Just
that was really good.
Really athletic little pass. And most people watching right now, a lot of them know fighting. But passes just simply, we got to get around the legs. Right? It's just quite simply.
He's in a crucifix.
Oh, he's got him in, yeah. So the
It's
2
kind of
arms.
he's looking Kimura now. It's going to be tough to step over here because the cage.
But either way, he could cook him here.
Yeah, he should cook him. He should get off his knees and kind of put pressure here.
He's going to try straight arm bar. No, he's going to go elbow to
He
elbow
needs
to
to
sternum.
step over the head.
And he
there
is.
he goes. Now he's going arm bar.
Yeah.
See, that's risky though.
Yep.
He might get it. It might
get
great,
it.
but
He might, but it looks like Valadez is very close to clearing his elbow past the hip line.
it's just risky.
Well, he's going to get it, I think. No. He's belly down. No, good work by Carlos.
You know, the problem with that, you give up dominant position there to go for a finishing move, which I get, but you had a good Kimura locked up. You could do damage.
Again,
Great defensive jiu-jitsu right there.
He falls out the back. That's what I was
High
talking
risk,
about
high
earlier.
reward again.
Yeah, but that's what I was
again.
talking about. You see those jiu-jitsu guys go to that seatbelt position and they fall off. You know, if you're in that dagger position where you're under both arms, it's really hard to get shook off.
Yep.
You go to that head and arm, it's tough there to dictate where you're at position-wise.
And he was trying to lace the leg around the back and just kind of slid off. So both guys have reversed through their own choices, right?
Yeah.
You know, they've been on the wrong side of a choice. And again, one more. But once we start getting into, okay, I'll submit you. No, you're going to try to submit me. Once that happens, the pendulum starts swinging back and forth like this.
And what an evenly matched up fight right now.
It's a great fight.
It's a good fight.
Yeah.
I love the head position battle that's being won right now by Carlos Valadez. He's just putting the crown of his head right underneath the chin of Alonzo Adams, making it extremely uncomfortable for him to be down there in that position. It's going to mess with his breathing. You know, he's also using the Charles Dubronx. We saw that against Dustin Poirier a couple weeks ago, using his hand to disrupt the breathing, just creating more adversity in the face of his opponent.
You know, I think they're going to give Carlos this round. Alonzo had really great moments in it, but it came earlier.
Yeah,
They'll be remembering this minute.
The last 30 seconds of a 3-minute round is the most important, and whether it should be or not, it just is.
Yeah, and that's reality, right? You got 3 human beings here. Your assignment is to do the thing. Their assignment is to score you.
Yeah.
And they're doing it based on the knowledge they have, the experience they have, their own personal opinions, all of those things, and they're human beings.
Yeah, if I'm in Alonzo's corner, I'm telling him he needs to go get a finish, you know, and there's no doubt about it. I prefer on my corner, if it's even close, just tell me you're down, you got to go win. I want the worst case, you know. Hope for the best, but expect the worst. So I'm telling him to go get a finish right now, and I don't know if that should be on the ground, on the feet. You know, Carlos he's a stud on the ground, man. He's got good sweeps, he's got good submission defense, he does damage.
Yeah, Carlos has looked great everywhere.
Yeah.
He's a real good fighter.
Both these guys are
really
super well-rounded.
Yeah, and again, like, you know, good on these guys. Take a fight against each other, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not that long ago people weren't fighting the tough fights. Now you must.
Yeah,
There's
you
no
don't have an
choice.
option,
Yeah.
And into this third and final frame, what do you see as the key to victory right now for Alonzo Adams, and does he need to have a finish right now?
I think he needs to finish. I think he needs to feint and get to his big strikes.
Yep.
That hurt the body.
Yes.
That hurt the body.
Carlos Valadez is starting to rally for the finish right now. He is letting it rain. Tim Mills is over the top, and we have a stoppage right now for Carlos Valadez.
Yeah, he hurt him to the body with that kick. He hurt him to the body with that front kick.
And, you know, we were talking about decision-making and awareness. You got a young man, you've heard him, and you're aware, and you understand, and you know, you don't even have to knock him out or anything. You have to overwhelm him now and use the ref as your tool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You saw, like, he wasn't loading up on big shots. He was just touching. And then, like you said, you put it in the ref's hands. He has to call that fight. He doesn't have an option.
You use him as your tool to finish the fight. Yep. I like that kid.
Yeah, it was a good fight. You know,
really good fight.
Like I said, Alonzo just needed to feint to get in. He wasn't feinting. He was jumping into big shots, trying to land that knockout, and that's how he got hit with that teep, right in the spot that puts you out, man. Body shots sometimes are worse than headshots. You can fight through a headshot. It's tough to fight through a body shot.
Round number 3, declaring your winner via TKO.